Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Dani and today I have a very different video that I don't know exactly what to call yet. But I'll explain. I have a shelf on Goodreads that I wanted to go through it with you. It is called I Will Finish Later, I think. Will Finish Later, something like that. So if you are a booktuber or if you watch a lot of booktube videos, you know that when we say that we did not finish a book, we mean that we abandoned it usually. Like DNF is agreed that it means that like you DNF that book, you did not finish it, you will not finish it ever. So I have a shelf on Goodreads called DNF, which are books that I don't ever see myself going back to. But I also have some books that I did not finish, but that I want to go back to. So I call that shelf Will Finish Later. And I recently put another book there and I saw that I think there are 9 books. And I really don't remember what the books are, and I wanted to open the shelf here with you and go through the books and see, like, will I ever really finish those books? Like, they have been there for so long, I don't even remember which books are there, so do I see myself finishing them? We'll see. I would love to know if any of these books you think I should prioritize before anything else, or just like books that you really love that you think I would love as well. So do leave a comment letting me know. So I'm gonna open my Goodreads and see what's there. So yes, we'll finish later. There are 10 books I think here. The first one, I think it's in the order of the one that I put there like right now and then the older ones, so that's going to be interesting. So the first one that I have here is the one that I just put there in January, which is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Yes, I did not finish that book, but I want to go back to it at some point. It's not forever DNF. This is a story about a woman who goes, a Nigerian woman who goes to America to study, if I'm not wrong, and just her life in Nigeria, her life in America. There's also a little, not as much of a focus, but also the story of this man who she was dating when she was in Nigeria, but then they got separated. He went to London, I think. But I read maybe like 100 pages of a 600-page book, and that was pretty much my issue with the book. I felt like it was too long. I read a lot, not a lot happened, and it was a lot of just everyday life of what they were going through. And it's just not usually what I enjoy reading. It gets very slow to me. It's just takes me forever to finish those kind of books. So I do want to go back to it because I'm interested in that story. I'm interested in the author a lot, and I guess I just need to be in the right mood. So I do want to go back to it at some point, not a forever DNF, so that one, definitely one that makes sense to be in this shelf. The next one is The Original by Brandon Sanderson and Mary Robinette Kowal. This is an audiobook that I got on Audible for a credit that I had, and I still have it. And it's a novella, it's very short, but I did not finish it. And I don't know what happened. It was interesting, but it wasn't grabbing my attention as much as I thought it would. Maybe because of the format. I think it was written to be an audiobook, but it will be published in text. Maybe, I'm not sure. But I don't think the audiobook was grabbing me too much, so I don't know if I want to go back to it, but I don't know when. It's not a forever DNF for sure. There was not even a point in which I said I'm stopping this book right now. It was just like I wasn't listening to a lot of audiobooks and I just didn't continue. And when I saw that it was on my currently reading shelf on Goodreads, I'm like, yeah, I should probably move this somewhere else. So I put it on this shelf. We'll finish later. I probably will. The next one is a book in French that was recommended to me by a friend, and it's called Montaltra. And it's a fantasy, it's a YA fantasy. It's very, very fun. The reason why it's on this shelf is because I started studying it. I was reading each page carefully and going over all the words that I didn't understand, taking notes of what the meaning of the words were. So it was just taking me a lot of time, and I had to block a time on my day every day to read it, and just it wasn't moving forward. I do want to go back to it, but maybe not in this way. I think it is a fun enough story that I can just read it and understand the context and not look up each word that I'm reading. I think it will be more interesting to read it that way. But I never really bought it. I got the sample of the ebook on my Kindle, and that's what I was working with. But if I had the actual book, also I could just take notes on the book and just think of the words that I'm learning and all of that, and I think it would be much easier for me. I have bought a few books on a secondhand bookshop in French that I think when I get to them, that's what I'm going to do. Like I'm going to write on them as I'm learning more words. They didn't have this specific book, which I'm really interested in reading and like really interested in the story. But when I find it, I will get it and I will continue it. The next one is A Study in Scarlet Women by Sherry Thomas. And this is one that I don't know why it didn't grab me so much the first time that I tried. I got this from, I don't know if you've heard of, there's a TBR service that like you send them all you like to read, all your favorite books, what you're interested in reading, and they recommend you 3 books. And this was one that they recommended, and I bought the first 3 in the series already, and I didn't finish the first one. I stopped on page 100, and I was enjoying it, but I think the beginning was really slow, and it wasn't getting to the point where I wanted. This is a story about this woman called Charlotte Holmes. She pretends to be this man called Sherlock Holmes to be a detective and find out what happened, and all those crimes. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of discussion about feminism at the time when the story happens. And I'm very interested in continuing. I really am. I don't know, like I said, I think the beginning was really slow, so I think that might be why it didn't grab me so much. But I want to go back to it, and I think it will be a lot of fun. Just at the time, it was not the right book that I really wanted to read, so I put it in the shelf. But I probably should move it from the shelf to just like a TBR shelf, because I would start back from the beginning for sure. So it's not one that I will finish later, I will read it later. The next one in this list is definitely in the right list for it to be, which is the one that I will finish later. There's no way for me to start from the beginning again. And that is Journal 29 Revelation. This is an interactive puzzle book. So I don't know if I can show you much because some of the puzzles in the beginning are already solved. But it's just like that. Like each page has a puzzle to solve. And then you go on this website and put the solution of the puzzle, and then you get the hint to continue in the book. And this is the second one in this series, I guess. I did the first one with my husband, and we started this one together as well. But at some point we just stopped. We didn't continue with it, but I definitely want to. We definitely will at some point. And I will finish it. Let me see how far we got. Yeah, we were in the puzzle 94. Of 100 and something. Like this is the type of book that you can look like in the next pages because it won't have a spoiler. So that was the one that I will finish later. I also have The Guinevere Deception here by Kirsten White. This is one that will I finish it later? I'm not completely sure. I'm not interested in continuing the series. I don't think it is a Arthurian legend retelling about this woman who I think she pretends to be someone else and goes somewhere. I don't remember exactly the plot, but yeah, they have Arthur, Lancelot, all that, those people. I like Arthurian legends. It's just I think it was getting too much of like the YA, typical YA fantasy, and not enough of those legends that I enjoy. I think I will keep this here. It is one that I want to read at some point, I think, but definitely not a priority. Next one is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is one that I read it at some point for, I think it was a readathon or something that I got like I had to fulfill an intimidating book prompt, and I picked Strange the Dreamer and I never finished it, but I want to know what happens. I think I will enjoy it if I give it a chance. It was just really slow, no plot at all, and mostly just very confusing. I felt all the time that like not the author, but like the narrator of the story didn't want to tell me the story, that I was just like trying to listen to a story that was not being told to me. There was a lot of things that weren't explained that I didn't understand, and I just felt left out. So I want to continue. I think it will get better as it goes. Let me see if I have my marker. Oh yes, I got to page 188. so not quite halfway through, but still, it is one that I want to finish at some point. Then we have The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. I forgot that this was here. I read The Golden Compass when I was a teenager, maybe, a really long time ago. And I really enjoyed it at the time, but I wanted to reread it to watch the TV show, and I already watched the first 2 seasons of the TV show, so no, I'm not going to go back to these books. I'm happy. I really like the TV show. It's so much fun. I totally recommend, but I don't think I'll go back to the books. I started to listen to the audiobook when I put it on this list. I'm not going back to it. Then we have 2 books that are actually arcs from NetGalley, and both of them are out for a long time already, but I never finished them. I started them as the arcs when I got them, and I never finished them. And I don't know how much I want to finish them for the story, but I do want to finish them for my NetGalley ratio. So the first one is The Last House Guest by Megan Miranda. I wasn't enjoying it. It wasn't thrilling. Like, it was supposed to be a thriller. It wasn't thrilling. I didn't care about what was happening. I've heard not so great reviews since then. But I want to finish it and review it on NetGalley. And the last one is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is one that disappointed me a little bit because I went into it, like, the premise is so cool. It's about this magical library. Like, there has monsters and, like, secret entrances, secret keys. I don't remember. It's been a long time. This is like the oldest one on this list. But I really thought I was going to enjoy it more. I remember that we got to a little bit of a romance plot that I wasn't interested in, and maybe that's what happened. I think it is a really fun book that if I just am in the right mood to read just a fun story about a magical library, I think I will enjoy it. So I do definitely want to go back to it and just have fun with it. So those were the 10 books that I have on my will finish later shelf on Goodreads. What we learned is that I'm going to take The Golden Compass from here and just not have it in any shelf. Okay, there we go. I'm actually not going to fix everything right now because when I edit this video, I will want to have a quick way to find all those covers to put in the videos. So from the 10 books, I do really want to continue 9 of them. I really thought this was going to go more poorly than it did, but it made me remember a lot of books, so I'm excited to, at some point, put them back on my TBR. Let me know if you read any of them and you think that I should definitely prioritize them a lot. That's it. Remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for joining me.